Are you interested in learning about being published through a small publisher? Then this is the episode for you. Hi, I'm author Tonya Duncan Ellis with Write This, my author interview show. And today I'm excited to welcome Kari Gonzalez, who is a debut picture book author who recently had her book published through a small press. And I want to pick her brain and find out what that process was like and to learn all about her book that's out now and her upcoming books. And I see that she's already joined us, so I'm going to invite her in. This is going to be a lot of fun. See if this is going on here. She's sending me. We always have this technical difficulty, and I'm so excited to see everybody here. I'm hitting accept, and it keeps doing that. Let me see if I can. I don't know what is going on. I'm going to invite Kari and see if she can come in that way. So Kari, I've sent an invitation to you. Still not working. Yeah, I sent the invitation. Let's see. There seems to be some type of issue. Kari, I'm going to invite you. Let me see. It says you're unable to join. I don't know why.
Let's see. Is that working better now? Can you see me?
Yes, it worked. There's always a little technical every time I do.
Perfect.
But it's so good to see you.
Yes, nice to see you as well. Thank you so much for having me to join you. Let me go ahead and adjust my camera. I see that you can only see part of my face there.
Yeah, you got that. Okay, move it up. There you go. You got
Perfect. It. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me join, and apologize for the technical difficulties, but over that now.
Well, congratulations on your new book, How to Hatch a Reader.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm very excited. Just released last month, and getting some good publicity with it, and excited to be doing author events and whatnot. It's been great.
Now, do you have a copy of the book there with you?
Yeah. Let's show that.
Yeah.
Here we are. How to Hatch a Reader.
Exactly.
And the illustrator is Rachel Suzanne, and the publisher is Gnome Road Publishing.
Okay, that sounds great. And we're going to ask all about your publishing experience. But tell us a little about you. I just become acquainted with you recently through the picture book group. But tell us about you. Where are you from and your writing background?
Yeah, so I'm from sunny Northern California, and my writing background is interesting. If you ask my dad, I've been writing before I could actually hold a pencil. And I used to tell him the stories and make him write them down for me. And then I've just continued all through my childhood writing. But I didn't get serious about writing picture books until I'd say probably about 2017 or so. Our youngest daughter joined us through adoption. And I really wanted to read some specific kind of stories to her. And I wasn't able to find what I wanted to read to her. So I started writing myself.
Oh, that sounds really cool. And I saw that you, your book's called How to Hatch a Reader, and then you have another book coming out talking about a farm.
Yeah.
Do you live on a farm, or what? Where do you get that inspiration from?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I grew up in an agricultural community, so very heavily agriculture. One of the towns that I lived in had less than 100 people, so very much a farming community. No access to libraries. We drove about 45 minutes into town to access the library. And, you know, as of now, we have kind of a hobby farm is what we like to call it, but we've got 15 fruit trees and different berry bushes, and we have chickens and vegetable garden, that type of thing. So we really enjoy growing things.
That sounds really cool. I live in Texas, and I saw on your page you went recently to an apple orchard, because we don't have orchards here. So I want to go one day and pick out.
They're amazing. And agritourism is a big thing out here. So there's the you pick apple orchards, and a lot of times, you know, there will be places that show you how to make cider and make pies and things of that nature, and just a lot of activities and things for kids. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that looks a lot of fun. We have pumpkin patches and berry farms where I go and pick berries, but I want to go to an apple farm one day. But now I was saying that the focus of the show today was talking about small publishers, because we have a lot of self-published authors who tune in, and authors on different parts of their journey who are
Mhm.
exploring publishing pathways. And I thought it would be cool to talk about how you found your publisher and what the process was like.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one thing that I will share with you is if you look on the web, there are some folks, some authors that kind of collate um, different publishers that are open to unagented submissions. So I wanted to share one with everybody in case you're looking for publishers that are accepting unagented submissions. Bitsy Kemper is an author of picture books and children's books, and she's got a website, 100 publishers accepting children's books. So I recommend checking out her website because she's got a nice list and she keeps it updated. It was last updated in August, it looks like. So highly recommend going to check out her website. But in terms of how I found Gnome Road Publishing, it was actually through 12 by 12. Sandra and I had worked together on a few critiques in the past, and I saw that she was opening her own publishing company. And so I took a look at the Gnome Road website because I saw that they were going to be open to submissions. I didn't have an agent at the time, and I wanted to see what she was interested in writing, because when I submit directly to publishers, I want to make sure that I'm submitting with intentionality and purpose. So you don't want to just throw out a manuscript and kind of see what sticks. You want to see if your vision, your story aligns with something that they're looking for. And sometimes, you can just be surprised and see if, they have an interesting style or another picture book that maybe is similar but different, from yours, where you see that they have an interest in that kind of style. But for Sandra, she had an open call and she was interested in humor with purpose. And I also knew from 12 by 12 picture book writing challenge that she also had small children that were about my age, just from Facebook and interactions that we had had. And I had written a book because I was trying to teach my young children how to read. And it was in the thick of 2020. It was really challenging. The schools were closed, the libraries, the Read to a Dog programs were closed. And so we ended up kind of transforming our own Read to a Dog program as a Read to a Chicken program.
Okay.
With our backyard chickens.
1 second, Kari.
Yeah.
Well, before we ask what a Read to a Dog program is,
Yeah.
some in the comments was asking about Bitsy's website. Could you repeat that for them? The 100.
Yeah. So it's 100 publishers accepting children's books.
Okay.
And if you type that into Google, it'll pop up.
Okay, great. Okay, sorry. And then your publishers know publishing. And for those who aren't aware, 12 by 12, I brought that up. It's a picture book challenge that it's a community where you write 12 picture book manuscripts a year. So that's how I became acquainted. It's through 12 by 12, and it opens for participants every January.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. And it's great. It really keeps you on track, in terms of writing. It's a great community that you can get involved in. There's a Facebook page and forum. I highly recommend it.
Yes, I love it. Now, what is the Read to a Dog? I've never heard of that before.
Oh, never heard of that? Yeah, so some library programs have a program that's called Read to a Dog, and they bring dogs in for children who, maybe a little bit more nervous about reading to others or reading out loud, and they bring in a friendly fur baby that you get to read to. And it just helps them grow their reading skills, get comfortable reading out loud. And so our local program, they bring in dogs. The kids get to read to the dogs, and then after so many books are read, they actually get a free book themselves. And a lot of times these are put on by Friends of the Library type programs.
That's really cute. Okay, I like it. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So we changed ours when it closed in 2020 to Read to Our Backyard Chickens. So this story idea was born out of something literal that we were doing in our backyard.
Right. That is so cute. That's so wonderful. It's really novel for me because we don't have that. I live more in a suburban area, so they don't allow that in the library. So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's been really awesome. Yeah, great programs through the library.
Okay. So you kind of you had that relationship with your publisher through 12 by 12, and that kind of opened the door for you.
I'd say it did a little bit, but also it was the submission with intentionality because I looked at what she was interested in acquiring and I paired my specific book with an interest that she had. So my book is funny, it uses humor with purpose. So I've got humorous moments, with the chickens and the farmer reading to the chickens, a lot of wordplay that's built in, but it's also using that humor in order to provide early literacy support techniques. So the specific story that I decided to submit used that humor with purpose, but I also knew it would tie in well because she was also understanding of, in teaching her own children how to read, how beneficial this could be for parents and educators and librarians to help kind of reinforce those techniques.
Okay, and that's really, really interesting because a lot of people think that with picture books, you just sit down and write a little rhyme, but there's a lot of craft and purpose and thought in the subject matters you're choosing.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, with picture books, you have such an economy of words. You have to make every word count. And so, the revision process, can be brutal. You can sit and look at a picture book manuscript for hours and maybe only tweak a few words, but then, you still feel so accomplished afterwards because you have to make every word count.
Exactly, exactly. Now, if someone is interested in working with, and are you agented now? One question, are you agented now?
Yes, I am agented now.
Okay. But say I'm a new author, I'm interested, I've got on the website that you recommended. What steps should they take? What would you recommend they do?
Yeah, absolutely. You want to do your research, of course, into that publisher. I would take a look at, deals that they've done. Take a look and see the types of books that they're acquiring, that they have an interest in. Make sure that your manuscript is a good match for that specific publisher. So, if you see that publisher is only middle grade and YA, don't submit your picture book and cross your fingers and hope. Really target what they are looking for and make sure in your cover letter that you indicate why you're submitting that specific story to them. So, if they have an interest in, this type of book and it happens to be one of your comparable titles, I would share that. Or if they, are looking for humor with purpose, and your book falls into that category, share that. So you want to share the specific reason why you think that they would be a good place, for your story to live.
Now, with this letter, cover letter, is that similar to the query letter that you would write?
Yeah.
Is that thing?
Yep. Cover letter, query letter. I'm using the term synonymously. Yeah.
Now, what elements go into the query letter for those who are new to the process?
Yeah. So you want to make sure that you have your pitch, comparable titles, and your bio. And you also want to indicate, biography. I should have clarified that. And you also want to indicate, like I mentioned, the reason why you feel like this publisher would be a good fit. So that's kind of the combination of the things that I use when I'm submitting a query letter or, using that cover letter.
Okay. Okay. Now, Kari, you said that you now are agented. So how did that come about, and has that changed your process or what you're doing with publishing?
Yeah. So I am so grateful for my agent. Her name's Stacy Condola at the Rice Factory. She's fantastic, just an avid supporter of my work. She loves the stories that I write. So she's so passionate. She brings that into the submission process, which I greatly appreciate. And she opens doors that I wouldn't have access to otherwise. And that's a great benefit of working with an agent. And, they'll also work with you on the contract. Legalese is a specialty not all of us have ingrained in us. I know I don't. So it's been great to work with her. She's been able to negotiate terms, advance, author copies, that type of thing. So she's really been fantastic to work with. And I started working with her about, I want to say about a year after I signed this contract. So I was still submitting during that time, but just hadn't found, the right agent for me. And things were, slowed down during COVID quite a bit. And so I didn't see as many deal announcements or partnerships with agencies as well. So I'm glad to see that that's kind of turning around a little bit. And yeah, just a fantastic experience working with my agent.
Well, Kari, how did you handle the contract process before you got an agent? Did you do everything yourself, or how was that?
I did. I did. And I was so nervous about that because I don't speak legalese. But I think that's one of the benefits of working with a smaller press is Sandra walked me through, and I keep saying Sandra. Sandra is the owner of Gnome Road Publishing. So it was just fantastic to work with her. When you're working with a smaller press, a lot of times you get that individualized, more collaborative kind of experience. And so she walked me through step by step the contract. We negotiated terms together. I was able to ask questions about the contract. So just a great experience. And I did have a mentor at the time when I was looking at the contract, and she recommended that I take a look at the Authors Guild because they had a sample contract. And if you are a member of the Authors Guild, they also have attorneys that can review the contract with you. I wasn't a member at the time, but that sample contract was so beneficial because I could see, the follow form kind of, of what the contract that I had was very, very similar to the Authors Guild.
Yeah.
So that was a huge benefit.
And I'm a member of the Authors Guild, and I've actually sent in a contract for them to look at. Yes, nice. So that's part of your membership fee. It's like $100 a year, and they'll do that for you as a service as a member. So yeah, that's very helpful. Okay, that's awesome. So what are your upcoming books? I know it said on your page you've got another book coming out in 2025.
Yes, I've got 2 more books coming out in 2025. Ooh. And you already mentioned Feeding Minds Press is one of the other small publishers that I'm working with. And that will be If You Live on a Farm. And it is a lyrical ode to farming, just stemming from my agricultural background, living in agricultural communities, and just really loving to grow everything that we've got at our house. We've got apple tree and an Asian pear tree and, plum. And so we enjoy growing things. And I think it's really important for children to learn where food comes from, but also the diversity of farming too. There's solar farms and wind farms. And so this is really a lyrical ode to farming that I'm really excited about. And hot off the press, the deal was just announced today. So I haven't had a chance to get a card up, but if you, How to Hatch a Writer will be also out in 2025. Oh. And I see Rachel Suzanne, our illustrator, is on, and I'm so glad she could join us today. She is so fantastic to work with. And I just love the elements of humor and the vibrant colors that she, provides in her art. It's amazing. So excited to partner with her again.
Well, congratulations, Kari. I know you're excited. So you've got your own little series going there.
Yes, very, very excited. So, got a pair of reading and writing together. It was a great opportunity to write another story and partner again with Gnome Road.
Yeah. Now, how have your children reacted to these books?
They are very excited. My oldest has named herself my marketing director. She is definitely telling and spreading the word to everybody that she knows, and it is just incredible to see. And they get really excited, when we're out doing events, and they very much want to sell the book and talk about it and talk about our chickens at home that inspired the story. So they're very excited.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot of fun and a fun family activity. For me, I guess when you think of California, I actually have a relative who's from Fresno, so that's still farming area, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah,
yes, it is.
Farms, but yeah, that has all the agriculture. So this sounds really cool.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, what about any other upcoming projects besides that? Will you stay in the picture book genre, or do you think you may branch out into some longer works, or what do you think about that?
Yes. Well, I have one other super secret piece of news, so I'll just leave you with that. I can't share too much yet.
Oh.
But I do also write middle grade novels in verse, and I also write young adult novels in verse. So I have branched out just a little bit, but don't have any deals to announce in that age group yet.
Okay, that's exciting. What I found, Kari, I started writing, and I love to read novels in verse, and picture book writing kind of goes hand in hand with that, doesn't it? Now that realizing once I got into it. Yeah, so that's really cool.
Yeah, so you'll know. I mean, it's just incredible, the different types of styles of poetry novels and novels in verse. It's just it's amazing to see it laid out on a page. And you've got the visual component like you do in picture books, and sometimes lyrical, sometimes rhyming. But there's just a vast variety of different styles in novels and verse that I just truly appreciate. So I am very excited. My agent and I have one out on sub right now, and I'm hoping to find a home for that. It's very near and dear to me, so fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's good. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And this has been really fun to learn about your books and process. And I think this should help some people interested in maybe finding another way into traditional publishing. If you don't have an agent, you could check out some of these smaller presses because it looks like it's really parlayed you into a nice career.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think one other piece of advice that I would share is, I mentioned submitting with intentionality. I think I would just share, when you are still looking for an agent, just keep in mind the quantity of submissions that you're sending out and making sure when you are submitting directly, you do that with intentionality and purpose. Because when an agent is looking at, okay, so you've sent this, particular project out before, how many folks have you sent it out to? So if you've sent it out to, 100 publishers, then that might limit their options and availability to send it out to, editors that they have a relationship with. So do it with intentionality and purpose, and make sure that you're partnering with your newly acquired agent when you get one, to make sure that they know who you've already sent it out to so they don't double submit.
Oh, okay. Good. Great advice. Great advice. Or maybe even have a new project when you're submitting to.
Oh, yes. I would highly recommend having at least 3 to 5 projects ready to go. And more than likely, if you have an editorial agent, they'll still work with you on, fine tuning and doing a few more edits. But you really want to make sure that, as markets change, as trends change, if there's an onslaught of, let's just say grandparent stories, and, you only have one story and it's a grandparent story, you want to make sure that you have some other stories to kind of sweeten the deal with the agent in terms of what other opportunities and stories they have to submit.
Oh, okay. Great. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we'll see you next week for another fun episode of Write This. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for having me, Tonya. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Bye.